Hello, this is the Lord's Legion and welcome back to the best villains ever. A show in which I talk about a specific villain and explain why I love these villains so much. And to celebrate Star Wars Rogue One, I want to talk about Darth Vader. Because truth be told, Darth Vader deserves his very own episode. So without further ado, let's begin with his backstory. And yes, he does have one hell of a backstory that is pretty long, but I'm only going to be touching upon the basics. So Anakin Skywalker was born on Tatooine and he was a slave. But when the Jedi went on Tatooine and found Anakin Skywalker, they discovered that he was the chosen one. And after that discovery, the Jedi Council has allowed Anakin Skywalker to be mentored by none other than Obi-Wan Kenobi. And throughout the years, Anakin has fallen in love with Padme, which is pretty forbidden within the Jedi. And throughout all these years, Anakin has become all the more aggressive and his negative aura has overtaken him, which led to Anakin Skywalker becoming more corrupt with the Force and eventually joining the dark side. As the dark side promised Anakin that they could actually save him and stop all of his pain. And after all the bloodshed that Anakin's done, he eventually had a fight with his former master Obi-Wan Kenobi, which led to Anakin getting burnt and dismantled. A few cybernetic enhancements and implants later, he became Darth Vader, and Anakin Skywalker no more. Okay, let's drop the fact that the prequels have done a bad job at explaining Anakin Skywalker's origin. However, it's still very fitting regardless. We got the sense that Anakin was the chosen one, but eventually got corrupt and was ultimately forced to be on the wrong side. I mean, sure, his origin story isn't anything Shakespearean or anything like that, but it still works regardless and very fitting to Darth Vader. And yes, there are many things that I've left out in his backstory, but the fact of the matter is that it's always getting expanded upon to the point where it just becomes a hard chore to just explain the whole thing in one go. Now, Darth Vader has a wide variety of powers and abilities at his disposal. First and foremost, he has his dark armor, which is essentially a life support. But alongside that, it also grants enhanced strength, speed, durability, and can even make him jump very high. And this is all without him even using the Force. Speaking of the Force, Darth Vader is one of the most powerful Force users across the galaxy, and can use the Force through various different ways, primarily to choke people. And he also uses the Force for telekinesis, so he can throw everything around, whether it be objects, people, or even his lightsaber. He could also use the Force barrier, in which could prevent other objects or even lasers from harming him as well, manipulating the Force in making a force field, if you will. And if Darth Vader is incredibly damaged, then he could use the Force to sustain himself. And he can also do that for a very long time. Darth Vader can also have precognition, in which can make him predict the next move. And he also has a few devastating techniques such as the Force Destruction, the Force Crush, and the Force Maelstrom. And has his own technique of Force Lightning called Kinetite, due to the dark armor being vulnerable to electricity. And to top it all off, Darth Vader could also channel the Force, in which can also increase his speed, strength, and durability. Darth Vader is also a prodigy pilot, a mechanic, and even a natural leader, in which can lead a whole empire for a few decades. Not to mention, he is also a very tactical strategist. And to top it all off, Darth Vader is very skilled with his dual-phased lightsaber. And if he really wants to, he could double the length of his lightsaber. Over the years, Darth Vader has done some pretty impressive feats, such as his survival against Obi-Wan, which led to him getting his own back years later. Plus he had a hand within the demise of Mace Windu, executing a powerful Sith, Count Dooku, slaughtering children, which eliminates any future threats, sacrificing himself to kill Emperor Palpatine and stopping the Empire once and for all, not to mention defeating a Clone Maul, as well as leading a whole army for 2 decades, if not a little longer, as well as surviving lightsaber strikes as well as blocking lasers, and could even lift heavy things with the Force, from ships to buildings. And because of his legacy, Darth Vader has been through a variety of different things. And this is mostly due to the fact that Darth Vader is one of the most iconic villains of all time, as well as being the most memorable movie villain ever. And all that stems because he's such a threatening villain and he's always intimidating on screen. And even his voice is one of the most memorable voices that anyone could ever hear in a film or TV show. And all of this leads to Darth Vader being in various different TV shows, cartoons, as well as video games. Such as in Star Wars Rebels, which fills in the gap between Episode 3, The Clone Wars, and Episode 4. With Rebels in particular, we get to delve in closer between him and his relationship with Ahsoka, who was his former Padawan, as well as seeing how much darker the characters become after his transformation as Darth Vader. We also have Star Wars The Force Unleashed games, in which have Darth Vader recruiting his own apprentice. And again, it does delve closer to Darth Vader's persona, as well as expanding upon Darth Vader's backstory and his mythos. Hell, he was even in Soul Calibur 4 for some reason. And Darth Vader is that popular, he's even getting his story getting expanded upon within the Marvel comics. And although not in the same universe as Marvel, they also fill in the gaps in between films and give Vader more stories. And these comics by Marvel are all canon within the main continuity. And even though Vader died at the end of Episode 6, everyone loves to still see Vader and everyone loves expanding upon his storylines. Plus, Darth Vader is the face of Star Wars, as well as being the face of pretty much any villain out there. And he has all that going for him for a very good reason, and that's because Darth Vader is such a compelling villain from left to right. Plus, he's also very memorable. So because of having a memorable presence, with a simple yet effective backstory, a voice you could never unhear, a design that completely stands out, as well as being a powerhouse of a character and being a rather compelling one at the same time, and on top of that being the most iconic villain of all ages, is more than a good enough reason for me to place Darth Vader within the best villains ever. Oh, a rhyme. So what do you think of Darth Vader, and do you agree with me that he is within the best villains ever? And also, what is your favourite Darth Vader moments? Please comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video, please like and subscribe, take care, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.